So to start off with, there was nothing much of note about this year. I ended up my last year at middle school with pretty much the most positive outlook imaginable. I had finally done something impressive, finally had a large circle of friends, got better at manga, even made a legendary final video for Mr. Finch. But the truth is, this year has been the worst school year I have ever gone through. And instead of moping about it, I think I can boil it down to a simple reason, and that the fact I wanted to overachieve. And I will present to you humbly. This is basically the reason, or at least
Hello everybody! Oh, you may be wondering why I'm Original Alpha instead of the new flashy animated Alpha frame by frame. Well, for purposes that you will understand later on in the video, I wanted to see if I could hold up without all the fancy bells and whistles. You'll understand why as we delve further into this presentation.
I'm not saying that I hate the other alpha, I'm just saying that to me this overachieving became a weakness. However, we are all human, and we do all struggle with core competencies, and therefore we have weaknesses. In fact, this even betrays the format I was given. I'm not using slides, I'm using a video simply because I thought it would be cooler. With this mentality, I exited grade 8, basically thinking that I was a god. But like I said before, the truth is, we are all humans. And I would like to talk about why we are humans and why we do struggle with core competencies, but how also my strengths have turned out to be weaknesses. And unfortunately,
Does that mean I'm not going to be involved in this presentation? You got in a minute-long rant and you're still not ticking any of the boxes that you should be ticking for this slide.
Actually, for all the trouble that you put me through, no, you are not leaving. I'm keeping you. Anyway, I will begin with my presentation without further ado. Chasm between skill and competency. My name is Alpha. Today's May the 25th.
Communication. I can understand and share information about a topic that is important to me. I can present information clearly and in an organized way. Example, my presentations in school, namely the one for socials about manga, the one in math about rational numbers, and the one I did for the grade 8s of my own free will about perception. I organized this information into a fun and relatable dialogue, inserting aspects into my presentations that I personally care about to make me do a better job. For example, in my math presentation, when I used an example about something I was passionate about to teach a subject, which I was not. More elaboration to come in the presentation. What you are seeing right now are the notes I took down for this presentation.
However, can you tell me what you were passionate about in the math presentation?
This presentation included a parody of the potato chip scene from Death Note and talked about, of all things, white boobs. This is
window dressing. You strip it away and you have something that cannot communicate at all. That presentation claimed that rational numbers could not be negative, showing a clear lack of understanding. Sure, I can talk about what I'm interested about, but I cannot use it as a crutch for my boredom. Therefore, I need to realize there are times when I can talk about what I'm interested about. Like my social project, which is all about my interests, and times when I need to have a sturdy core before I leave a message, if I even choose to do that at all.
This may be a lot to take in, and it is for me too, but I think that a really good presenter can communicate what isn't interesting and what they do not feel passionate about, as well as what they are passionate about.
Anyway, on to the next competency, which is thinking, creative thinking. I can generate new ideas as I pursue my interests. I get ideas that are new to my peers. I can develop a body of creative work over time in an area I'm interested or passionate about. I believe in strategies for quieting my conscious mind. Example, my manga. What else? Lately, I've been better at sticking to one idea. I stay focused about what I'm doing. I will elaborate on one of the presentations. Suffice to say, I've come up with strategies for pushing myself beyond my limits.
Actually, I have a lot of positive things to say about this one, mainly that yes, I only stuck to one manga this school year, unless you count my English project.
As opposed to last year, where yes, I could come up with bodies of work, and yes, I could generate new ideas, but I worked on a total of 5 projects, all of which are drawn out and unfinished. I was only able to accomplish this improvement because of a new focusing strategy I formed this year.
What is the strategy?
First, I formed a collaboration with another student so I could not pull out easily. As shown in red, the student also drew some of the things in my manga, relieving me of a bit of stress. Next, I taught myself not to think about ideas until the current one was done. I have a lot of ideas floating around in my head for future series, like a Yandere Harem series, or a Gothic Mecha series, but I've learned not to let these ideas gestate before they are fully ready, and not before my current idea is done. It's sort of like a plant. If you eat it prematurely, it'll be terrible. But if you let it grow for a little bit, it will always be better.
And now it comes time for me to talk about critical thinking. You may be surprised to know that I constantly rank creative thinking as my lowest score on my core competency tests, while critical thinking is always my highest. Make of that what you will, mainly the tests are poorly made. Anyway,
I can experiment with new ways of doing things. I can develop criteria for evaluating design options. I can monitor my progress and adjust my progress to achieve what I want. I can make choices that can help create my intended impact in the situation. Example, I've been making the switch from iMovie to Adobe Suite this year. I've been constantly learning how to do more complex things with this new software. And in my early presentations, I focused on how to replicate effects with iMovie using Premiere. Then, I learned to do things with Premiere that are impossible to do with iMovie. Lately with presentations, I do a lot of alterations depending on time crunches, which ties into learning new software. I evaluate the look of my projects based on this.
I think the most clear indication of this was the presentation I did for church, in which there were as many as 12 video layers being composited onto each other at once, as opposed to the maximum iMovie can handle, a measly 2. Unfortunately, with great power comes great responsibility. If I can do an effect well, then great. If I cannot find a way to do it well, then I'm screwed, since it'll turn into a massive time crunch in order to compromise everything. Lately, the beginning of the production period for my presentations, everybody has been telling me to reduce my scope, to be mediocre, that I have nothing to prove, that it's okay to be lazy. Well, it's not! The way I use critical thinking is to harden my heart and not deviate from the original vision as much as possible, no matter the cost. I will do anything in order to fulfill this, any trick in the book. This is not a game of ethics. This is a game of doing whatever is possible to squeeze out of myself the best possible product, no matter the cost. The compromises I make are usually compromises that don't compromise the aesthetic feel of my presentations, that don't compromise any of the quality of my work.
Wasn't I supposed to say?
You can lose marks for not sticking to the presentation requirements. I hate you anyway.
You're gonna be a very mediocre presentation indeed.
On to the next point then. Personal awareness and responsibility.
Personal awareness and responsibility. I can persevere with challenging tests. Example, my manga. More elaboration in the
to elaborate
presentation.
with this one?
I think we do if we're to get those sweet extra marks.
Not extra, required.
Anyway, I think I've said this a million times before, but I will reiterate. In Japan, how many pages do we need to create per week? You can shout it out, I don't care. That's right, 20. If you're in Severus in English, you now know how long it takes to make just one page. Now multiply that by 20, and then fit it into the course of a week. Except you don't really get 7 days. No. You get more like 4 or 5, since your editor needs to edit your work and put it in the magazine. But I will persevere. You can burn me, whip me, gouge my ass out, drown me in a sea of homework, enforce on me your ideals of laziness and conformity. But I swear to you, I will take everything with a smile, running head on into whatever you plow at me. And if I die, it will be as a martyr for what I love. Making manga, persevering with challenging tasks. I will sacrifice everything I hold dear in order to complete this. That is what it takes. Anything else, and I'll forever be a weak coward.
That is neither sensical nor conducive to your health.
Your mother isn't conducive to my health.
I don't have a mother.
I'm not gonna argue with you, or any of you. I'll turn a deaf ear to anyone who tells me otherwise.
I can tell you the real reason why you do.
What? No! The real reason I want to do this is because I want to create awesome manga, and personal responsibility has no place in that.
You! Please get out of here. And thus we see that after all this education on the competencies, Alpha has still failed to learn anything about personal responsibility, only that he has done. This is of course quite disturbing, but also concerns everybody around him. How much will he work before he drops dead from overwork? I'm not kidding, this is a real issue. Personal responsibility means keeping yourself in a state when you actually can crush your enemies, where you can hurt them with your punches instead of landing a weak because you're malnourished and lack sleep. I'll tell you the real reason why Alpha in real life works so hard. He even mentioned it himself one time. He's turned on to the idea that you can put everything on the line to achieve a result. He cares about the final product, yes, but more than that, he just wants people to recognize that he's a hard worker. His lack of personal responsibility comes from a pseudo-responsibility to the world. He is at heart irredeemably lazy. That's why he worked himself to the bone to prove to the world that he's not. After all, once the world believes it, it's only a matter of time where he does so too, right? Anyway, the point about our responsibility to God is this.
The price we pay for our pride as human beings is insanely high.
Last year, I was too full of it. The result was nearly being dragged down to create disgusting, normal-looking work. The price for my pride was a blind eye to the things happening in front of me, which made their impact devastating. This year, I've been constantly told, "You've hit rock bottom, but it can only get better from here." And for a while, I believed it, until I realized a very important truth. There's something below rock bottom, dragged right past rock bottom to the core of the earth, where I was burned and then pushed right past the core to the other end, landing like a mangled mess and a heap of bones, barely even able to breathe. And after all that, I can still see God in this. This was only able to happen because of the competencies that strengthened me, without me even realizing it, and for that, I see God's grace. Let me explain. There could have been way worse fates than what I was given. I could have been expelled. In the case of communication, I could have not been given any worthwhile interest to talk about. In the case of thinking, I could have been given zero stamina and faithfulness to my ideas. It's these little tidbits of stuff that God gives us to work with throughout the harshest of times, just feeding us enough to survive. But we can never give ourselves a break. Even if we go past rock bottom, we can't use it as an excuse to have victim rights and whine about it all day. No, we need to work and distract ourselves and keep pushing forward. We need to use God's gift to the fullest to multiply the tidbits He gave us and keep multiplying them. Because if we tell ourselves to aim for anything less than the physically impossible, how can we push ourselves to be the most competent persons we can be? But taking into account next year, this will never happen again next year. Shoal and Bag Studios has to change its business model. Otherwise, we're not going to keep quality afloat. I said this to my English project leader, but I think the quality of work is like butter and the scope of a project is like bread. The larger the scope, the thinner the quality is spread. And this year, while I pulled through with ludicrous presentations, I don't think I can keep up to next year and stay on top of things. So this is what I concluded. With communication, I'm not going to create something loaded with pop culture references unless absolutely necessary. With critical and creative thinking, I'm not going to create class presentations that are so crazy they defy all expectation. I'm going to pour ideas onto genuinely creative ideas, and only genuinely creative ideas, not mass-producing whatever looks cool. That means when I'm in a group, I'm going to let the group members do work too and not carry the whole team. This has been a very hard thing to say, and a very hard pill to swallow. So hard to swallow it's ripped my throat open. I exit this year fully disgraced, fallen from glory, and broken. But as I lie on the floor, bleeding out, everything I hold dear finally stripped away from me, I hold my head up like an idiot and smile.